I did have a better camera to record this with, but it blew over in the wind and smashed. It happens. G'day guys. Today I'm testing these two little gimbals here. This one here is by Smove and it's called the Smove Pro. Just came out, just released on Indiegogo. And this one here is called the Zhiyun Smooth. Z-H-I-Y-U-N Smooth. And they are both very comparable in many ways. Firstly, I'm going to put aside the Smove Pro. Actually, I'm going to have to lay it down so it doesn't fall over, because even though it can stand on its axis, it's not balanced so well. It does stand up by itself if there's no wind and there's no vibrations or movement, but the smallest knock that gets it wriggling will make it fall over. So that one goes down. Now I'm going to showcase this one first, the Zhiyun Smooth, because it is so user-friendly. Basically, to get this started, all I need to do is to pop the camera out of the case and just take it off. It just saves you the motors in the gimbal, and perhaps it could last longer. So basically that's it. I've plugged it in. It's now ready to switch on. So I'm using the Samsung Galaxy S6 and consequently it is around and ready, and off we go. We have what I would call quite a good gimbal straight off the bat. Now, one thing to mention though, this particular gimbal, the Zhiyun gimbal, the Zhiyun Smooth, the instructions do not come in English. They're all in Chinese. So if you don't speak Chinese or have access to someone with Chinese, then it can be a little bit of a challenge. But it's quite self-explanatory. So basically all I did was switch it on and it went by itself from the word go. Just like now, done. So if you have a Samsung Galaxy S6 or S7 and your phone's about this sort of size and weight, then I think you should just be able to switch it on and it'll run straight off the bat. So yeah, good gimbal. Woo. Okay, that's enough playing with this one. So I will give you an infill test after showing you the switch on methods. So that makes this one a preferred gimbal, because out of the box, oops, I didn't even do the screw up then and it still went perfectly fine, so I've got to do it up now. So out of the box, this is pretty good. Now, just laying this down. Now the Smove Pro, on the other hand, I had so much trouble with. Straight out of the box, I recharged it. It took actually maybe 3 or 4 hours to recharge in full. And that was from a half charge, mind you. And then from this particular model, it did some crazy things. As soon as I plugged it in, I put the phone in like I just did with the other one, and it spun around in circles and did some highly odd things, and it made me lose confidence in the brand immediately. So I messaged them and I asked them, hey, what's going on here? And they said you need to calibrate it. Not before basically, well, being really rude and having really poor customer service. But hey, I guess the guy got inundated by people who were clueless like me, asking silly questions, and his response just became, well, deal with it or f off. And that's not good customer service. So Smove Pro, you need to pick up your customer service. But in saying that, this particular brand here doesn't have any customer service. The switch on is really bizarre. So you have to hit the on button once, wait for the green light to come on, and then hold it down for 3 seconds. And then it'll switch on. And this is what was happening. So when it starts doing this, there's nothing you can do to recover it. So I am now pushing it once and then holding down the button to switch it off. Nope, not working. Once again, push the button once, hold down the button for 3 seconds to switch it off, and off it goes. Alright, so I checked the button on the side here and it was switched to mobile phone, and I read the manual again. And what it didn't say in the manual is that you have to balance your mobile phone on this particular gimbal first. So that was weird. So I just kept moving it around and moving it around until it gets stable like this. So now that seems pretty level. Sorry, when I said stable, I meant level. Yep. So now it's pretty level. So once again, I switch it on by one press and then hold it down for 3 seconds. And it comes on, it does a little bit of a shutter, and it's ready to go now. Mobile phone is now locked onto one particular position. So this is in the locked mode. So, oops. And that's another big problem with this particular model. If I need to change any of the settings in this particular mobile phone, or, you know, that I'm recording in, then as soon as I touch it, the gimbal starts wobbling and doing weird things. So I can't just naturally change much on here unless you're really good at like a gentle touch on the screen. Okay, so now we are on. So this is normal follow. So off we go. If I walk around, it will follow around. But yeah, it's working okay now. All right. As you can see, oops, we are recording here. These are my settings. This is what the screen looks like. These are my settings. This is what the screen looks like. And off I go. So I'm going to walk the same thing, the same route for both of these. Switching off now. Normal all follow mode to start with. Okay, first obstacle, down the stairs. Swinging left. Walking along here. Pivoting around, following. So I'm trying to keep the box in the middle of the frame. Working reasonably well. Up. Okay, now I'm switching to normal yaw follow. Now normal lock. And we have gone too far. And it's skipping out. Oh, stop skipping out. Alright, follow mode again. Alright. So, I'm going to walk back up. Flipping around. Oops. Oops. Well, we have major problems again. Oops. Well, Jesus. Back in. No good. Maybe in a few months' time, once I've played with this a lot more, then I'll have a better understanding of how it all works well. But at the moment, I'm not confident or comfortable using this in any setting other than playing with it. Now, that in itself is a failure for me. So, switching it off now. Sweet. I'm going to get onto the Zhiyun Assistant here, which would be brilliant if it worked. But I must say, this program doesn't, for some reason, connect to the gimbal very well. So, just press the button and hold it down like any other time, and it should, there you go, straight up. No problems. It just seems like it's so much easier to use. Alright, so it comes up with connection, but for some reason I don't get all the pitch axis, pan axis and roll axis degrees on this. So that's not working. But I switch on the camera here, and once again we have these options. Fairly simple and easy to follow. Same with the Smove Pro app as well, actually. It's very simple and easy to follow. But let's go and test the two modes on this. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this quickly. It's range. So if you have a look, I can come up here like this, down and around. So there are some limitations. For example, here, the phone starts to tilt down. Here, the phone flips around, just like on the other one, but the recovery is just so quick and so easy. whereas on the Smove Pro it doesn't recover as quickly. So now, doing the walking test in the 2 modes. Okay, going down the stairs. Oops, I'm on the wrong mode, I'm on the lock mode. Okay, going down the stairs. This is the follow me mode now. Not the follow me mode, sorry. Okay, we have come around, up, walking around in a circle. Alright, so I'm changing modes now. We have the second mode. So this is more like the lock mode. Lock mode. Sweet. Okay. Back inside. Switch this one on. So all in all, this particular gimbal here actually is more user friendly. Easier to switch on, recovers quite easily when you move too far. And as I did before, it came around and it decided I was filming in this mode, so it automatically flipped in this mode, which I don't ever film in, of course, and then I've switched back and it automatically switches. So that is a great particular feature in this particular little gimbal, even though it's something that I'll never use. So overall, for the price, so I think this cost roughly $200 Australian, so roughly 160 US dollars around about, and this costs 220 US dollars, so about 280 Australian dollars. So all in all, when you consider the price, I think the Chinese model hands down beats this model. Now, they're very much the same in a lot of other ways. This has a follow me feature, which is really great if you can get it to work. And in theory, you can also put an action cam on this particular one. The problem with that, however, is you have a silly little screw here. So you unscrew that, you put the little action cam feature over it, and then you screw your action cam into it. Now, when I tried that, it broke the back screen of my GoPro, and the little piece that attaches to the GoPro, it was that tight on the plastic. Look, I can't get it off, and it's literally, see all the plastic it's shaving off and damaging? The only way to get this off is to snap it and break it, and I already tried that and it's broken the back of my GoPro screen. So I don't know how a designer thought that was okay, or it could just be that that particular piece from mine is dysfunctional. There isn't enough gap between the grooves in the GoPro screw head thingy, whatever you call that part that screws in. But anyhow, yeah, as I said, overall, Smove Pro, I'm actually really disappointed at this stage. But in a week or two's time, perhaps I've learnt more about it and think it's better. But at this stage, for user friendliness, I'd just be going with this, because at least I know it's reliable. It's going to do what I tell it to do most of the time. Whereas this one here, I'm not so sure. So far it just tells me it's unpredictable. And the fact that I need to try and balance my phone myself before getting it going, that doesn't work for me. Even though the build quality feels better, it seems tougher, sturdier, I just don't like it at all. Everything about it doesn't yet fit well with me. But that may change in time as I use it more. But at this stage, I'd advise getting this over this.